Back in June, when Automobilista version 1.2 came out, the hype for the Brazilian racing sim was real. Many content creators praised it to the skies and told their audience that now was the right time to buy it. But not me. Back in June, I did this video on the channel: can version 1.2 save Automobilista 2? A question not everybody liked. And I mean, not liked at all. Yikes. But the player numbers were on an all-time low. And yes, the content is cool and all, but the driving was just not up to the standard of other sims like iRacing, ACC or Race Room. Which is why I did not recommend AMS2 at the time, as it was just not ready in my eyes. Now, Racing USA Part 2 brought another wave of awesome new cars and tracks, as well as a huge load of physics changes. And I have to say, I really love the update. Which is why I will now officially make this statement: get it now. It's great. And why is that? I'll explain it in today's video with 10 reasons why you should pick up AMS2. Let's address the elephant in the room first. The changes Riser made to the physics and force feedback. With version 1.3, quite a few things have been ironed out compared to the past to make AMS2 just a more pleasant driving experience. In one of the recent blog posts, they explained in detail what they were working on, and that until now an unknown syntax error was causing some problems with how the physics were calculated. But hey, that's something that can happen when you work on a physics engine from somebody else. But the results are mighty impressive. AMS2 feels like a completely different game now. In particular, the feel for oversteer, downforce, grip and the rear differential have improved massively. Of course, not everything is perfect yet. I like the formula cars and prototypes best, but overall the drivability of cars is better and will lead to more players enjoying the sim in the future. As you might know, with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, with great physics comes great force feedback. And that's something that got overhauled as well, and is another reason why you should start playing. With the new Default Plus preset, Razer offers a completely new FFB option that got redefined in its force output. Of course, force feedback is highly subjective, as the forces in a real car are not as clearly communicated to drivers as they are in racing sims. But I think Razer did a great job on finding a balanced compromise between realism and comfort here. But just like the developers suggest themselves, I think the best option to go with in AMS2 is still a custom force feedback file. Those can be found in the official Riser forums, and they transform the FFB to a whole new level. Would you like us to do a full mods and custom force feedback installation tutorial? If so, let me know in the comments down below and I'll see what I can do for you. Okay, enough of physics and force feedback. The driving sensation is alright now. But what else? What makes AMS2 stand out to its competitors? Quite a few things. Let's start with the immense roster of cars. You want to drive F1 cars from 2001? Of course. GT3 and GT4 multiclass? Sure thing. LMP1s together with GTE? No problemo. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. With tons of Brazilian racing series like Stock Car, Formula V, F3, Copper Truck or Lancer Cup, there are also a lot of unique content on here that you can find on any other sim. Just have a look at the 250cc supercars. Almost 100 horsepower, 500 kilo and a big wang on the back. Those things are stupid fast and something else to have in your arsenal of cars to drive. But not only the car roster is huge. If you own all DLCs or the season pass, the amount of tracks in the game is almost unbelievable. There are a lot of known tracks that are laser scanned, like Spa, Silverstone, Bathurst or my hometown track, the Hockenheimring. Most of them come also with a lot of layouts that let you experience the track in every possible way. The Hockenheimring is the perfect example to showcase this. You can drive it in the current GP configuration with 3 DRS zones, you can drive the short layout with or without a chicane, or you can explore older configs from 2001 or 1977 where V12s were howling through the nearby Pinewood Forest. And next to all those greatly designed well-known tracks, AMS2 also sports tons of lesser-known circuits. Most of them are from South America to support the Brazilian cars they have, but there are also some other tracks that you can find in many other sims like Cascais, which is basically Estoril from Portugal, my favorite open-wheeler track Jerez, or the Adelaide Street Circuit. I think this video first and foremost shows that I love Formula racing, but anyhow, the number of cars and awesome tracks is surely a big plus for Amos 2. The next point on my list of top 10 things why you should start playing Automobilista 2 is something that in my eyes Amos 2 does better than anybody else, and that's the weather system. Not only does the game sport a true dynamic weather system with 15 different weather presets and a 24-hour day and night cycle, you can also choose real-life weather data from the past 40 years to relive your favorite motorsports moments just as you remember them. Just choose a day you want to race on and the game will automatically adjust the weather to how it was in real life back then. For example, you guys remember the F1 race in Spa this year? It was so wet that the GP was cancelled after a few laps, right? Let's see if Amos 2 can replicate that. The race was held on the 29th of August this year and this is what I call bad weather. This can create so many fascinating scenarios, like the track still being wet from the day before and slowly drying up as the sun rises. But also the seasonal foliage is something to behold in Amos 2. Sure, this doesn't add to the racing when the trees have no leaves in January, but I think this definitely adds to the immersion and just represents the time, day and weather perfectly. Speaking of immersion, let's stay there and talk about graphics. The Madness engine from Slightly Mad Studios was already a good looking video game engine in Project Cars 2. But I think that Razer really got the best out of it. Everything looks sharp, the car models are detailed, and the lighting especially makes Amos 2 one of the best looking sims out there. And let's be honest guys, graphics might not be that important in racing games, but what the competition is offering is really just a joke. iRacing is from 2008. Race Room doesn't look great either. Assetto Corsa can hold up with mods, but those doesn't affect the visual quality of the tracks. And ACC does look awesome, but has many performance issues and little hiccups due to the Unreal Engine. So is Amos 2 the best looking sim right now? What do you guys say? Where Amos 2 is sure number 1 in terms of looks is in VR, which brings us to point number 7 on this list. I'm not that heavily into VR as content creation is particularly tricky with that technology, but VR is undoubtedly the most immersive form of sim racing. And in my eyes, Amos 2 just handles VR so well. Despite the sometimes flickering shadows, the Madness engine just supports virtual reality so well with a high and constant frame rate, easy to handle super sampling and perfect wide vision clarity. If you never tried VR on Amos 2, I highly recommend you to do so because this blows my mind every time I plug in the goggles and step into the virtual world. Okay, but what about online racing? What are all those bells and whistles good for if I can't put my skills to the test against others? Which brings us to reason number 8, the new online rating system. At the point of this recording, the feature just entered beta status and is pretty basic so far. There are ratings, experience and safety ratings that heavily take inspiration from Project Cars 2 rating system. But the real news here is that Razer is working together with a third-party multiplayer service that's soon to be integrated into the game, that will bring organized and scheduled races to Amos 2 and could revolutionize the online sim racing genre if done right. And I think they should copy from others with their online rating system. Games like iRacing or Race Room could potentially be great role models for the future here. But me from my side, I'm really excited where this is heading and I can't wait to join some online races competing with other drivers online with similar skill. Did you know that Automobilista 2 has mods? No? Then you are missing out, my friend. There are not a lot of them yet available. I think that has to do with the lack of modders due to the small player base, but they exist and do further enhance the gaming experience. Some of my favorites are the original F1 2001 skins that also added new AI lines and the original driver names. It's just more fun when the crew chief tells you, "Who's ahead?"
Schumacher.
Gets me every time. But there are also some completely new cars that can be added, like this Dodge Viper. But these are still a rarity, so don't expect the number of mods that Assetto Corsa has. But there's a chance Amos 2 could potentially grow in that direction. And the last point on my list why you should give it a go is its potential. Automobilista 2 is still an unfinished game. Maybe not so much in regards of driving physics any longer, but rather in terms of game modes, cars and tracks. Razer is still working full steam ahead on adding more and more to AMS2 and already shared a lot of plans of what's to come. Those plans include the aforementioned multiplayer rating system with dedicated races, new DLCs, which will bring us Road America and more cars soon, and also a super in-depth career mode that will be, and I quote, the most comprehensive and true-to-life career mode ever designed for a racing game. Not sure if they can manage to deliver that. Greetings go out to Ryan McCain, but I can't wait to see them try their best, as they always do. What do you guys say? Have you tried AMS2 lately? How do you like the update? Let me know in the comments. I for my part really want to start a custom season with those 2001 F1 cars. 1 hour long races, random weather, no HUD, only the crew chief in my ear. It's going to be legendary. But anyhow, if you need more sim racing action, go and visit overtake.gg. We have some really exciting articles over there. But that's it from me today. Thank you so much for tuning in and see you next time around. Cheers!